We're in the bottom of the 5th inning of Roman's title run. That can't be true. We have to be. Welcome back, Stache Club Wrestling. My name is John.
My name is Dante.
Haven't done this in a while. Today, we're back for a chill mode, just a regular chill mode. However, it is hot. Hot takes. I think this is the 5th hot takes video. I don't know.
Something like that.
I sent out a tweet on the Stache Club Wrestling account on X asking you to give us your hottest takes. Can be recent, don't have to be. And you delivered. We're going to read some of the hottest ones, the most popular ones, just some from the community, and kind of give our takes on it. And then you can let us know what you think in the comments, as well as leaving your own hot takes.
Hell yeah.
Before we get started, everyone, make sure you're subscribed. Hit like, hit join to join the Discord. Check out the Sweep City merch in the description. You know the deal. Okay.
All right.
First one, starting off hot. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns was not a damn pivot, and the stuff and this current booking is better than a, quote, I won the Rumble, I get the rematch storyline.
I think this story makes it more interesting for sure than the whole I won the Rumble, I get the rematch aspect of it.
For sure. I agree. I think you can have both, though. I don't think one means the other didn't happen. You know
right.
what I mean?
I think that you can kind of separate the two things. You know what I mean? And as far as the pivot thing goes, I mean, that's anyone's guess at this point. Like, I can't argue whether it was planned or a pivot.
I said this on the podcast too, that like, you know, a pet peeve of mine is when people say something is like as fact, even though like you weren't in the writer's room. But contrary to that, I don't know. I'm kind of convinced that, especially with like Cody saying not at WrestleMania,
right?
Like it's crazy to announce Rock Roman and pivot away from it.
Yes.
Pivot. But at the same time, I think we do trust Triple H, and it's such a good story and such a good story with like that's now involving The Rock and involving Seth. Like so much good and interesting stuff came out of it that it also is like, oh, you had to have planned that. But also
exactly, they're doing it so well that it's making you think that, oh, they had this plan the whole time.
But there was also the gamble of like they didn't know that, or you know,
they get that reaction.
Grain of salt. It seems like they might not have known. They would have gotten Rocky sucks chance.
Right.
We want Cody, because what if anything, I at least think something was a dice roll.
Maybe they couldn't decide on which match they wanted, so they were like, let's see how the fans react.
I mean, that could have been it too. And
who knows?
If the crowd loves Rock Roman, okay, we'll go with that. And, like that could have been it too.
Right.
I do agree though, absolutely, that it's whether it's a pivot or not, all of this is way better than just a straight up I won the Rumble, I get a rematch. So like regardless, definitely agree with that.
Yep. Big Time Bex is better than the Man. So looking at both of Becky Lynch's characters here, I personally think the Man is just like, that's kind of what jump-started her and catapulted her into the superstar that she is. She was great before the Man and stuff, but like that's what really put her on the map. And that's what, you know, the Man main evented WrestleMania, one of the first women to main event WrestleMania. Can't go wrong with either. I think the Man's more iconic.
You could even argue now as Big Time Bex, because she's going into this like serious Mania match with Rhea, and she's talking about like how many life events she's missed of wrestling. I think she's absolutely, and the way she was dressed on this past Raw with like, she had the yellow jacket and the backwards hat. She didn't have like anything crazy on. I think Big Time Bex seems to be leaning back into the Man.
Right.
And I think that only lends to the fact that like the Man had so much more to offer, whether in just maybe seriousness or whatever, or intensity. But I think that's why I also lean the Man with the bloody nose too. I mean that, you know?
I think the Man is more of like a serious character. Like the Man's coming around, like she means business type of thing.
Heavy hitter here. 53 likes, 6 retweets or re-X's, reposts, whatever. We want Cody movement is greater than the yes movement. In terms of outcome, the we want Cody movement is leading to a generational storyline in which we have never seen before, bringing more casual fans and rewarding the hardcore fans.
I don't think it's something we've never seen before.
I disagree. Yeah, I think this person literally said,
you're comparing it to the yes movement.
So yeah, we have seen it before.
So that's what we've seen it.
Maybe not to this level.
Wait until we see the outcome, because let's say we're leading into. Let's say Cody ends. Is this going to be better than the yes movement? It won't be, because the yes movement ended with Bryan winning and stuff like that. If it pays off.
If Cody loses, I think this argument pretty much goes out the window.
100%. If he wins, then sure, it's comparable. You can make a fair comparison argument there.
And I'll say it. I think I'm enjoying this ride more, but also like it's tough to compare the finished yes movement to an incomplete We Want Cody movement.
Exactly.
But with that said, I'm enjoying We Want Cody more. I'm having more fun. It definitely seems larger. It definitely seems on a larger scale. I don't think there would be a We Want Cody without a yes movement. However, I think We Want Cody can surpass it. I don't think it's that crazy to say.
I think it can, just not yet. WWE fumbled LA Knight and Sami Zayn's push. We probably won't see them get as hot as they were again.
Sami Zayn, I disagree with. LA Knight, I agree.
LA Knight, I understand what they're saying, but like he's only been hot for a year. He's only been like super relevant for a year on the main roster now, right? People are talking about like striking when the iron's hot, like, you know, like giving him the championship when everyone loved him. But it's like at the same time, by doing that, you're kind of disrupting other stories that you have. So it's like you're sacrificing one thing for the sake of building up this guy.
Maybe jumping the gun too fast on a push.
Right. And I think Sami Zayn, like, yeah, he was uber popular last year. Faced Roman in his home country, won the tag belts with Kevin Owens. But I mean, now, I mean, you know, he's in a world championship picture kind of right now.
Sure.
Like
both these people are, well, Sammy lost his qualifying match, but LA Knight is in the elimination chamber. So it's like,
match. Yeah, I mean, like both of these guys are still in prominent stories, like top guys on their brand. Yeah, they were very hot at those moments, but I don't think that we can't get back to that. If Sami Zayn won a world championship, he's back to being as popular as he ever was. So,
well, I think too with Sammy is like his push. Like I don't think they fumbled it. I think they just completed it.
Yeah,
because he wasn't gonna win.
That's the thing. Sami Zayn, as much as people love Sammy, we love Sammy, he was a part of Roman's story. He wasn't meant to beat Roman.
And even if, like, I do think he is a part of that story, but I think it was, like, a lot of his story. But again, I think he completed it. I mean, his story ended up failing, but that Elimination Chamber match was one of the hottest matches we've had in a long time.
And then he ended up winning the Tag Team Championship, which was a great moment. Main eventing
WrestleMania. So I don't think them, unless this person's talking about a different push, but but I assume this is what they're talking about. LA Knight,
I understand that more than Sammy.
I'm fully in the camp of, especially at this point, and again, very hindsight 2020, which I think is just like kind of a lot of this, but he should have gotten that Money in the Bank briefcase for sure. You know what I mean?
Especially at this point, looking back on it.
Yeah. I don't want to use the term fumbled. At the end of the day, if you're featured prominently on TV and in main event pictures, people say the same thing about Finn Balor, like, oh, they're wasting Finn Balor, not utilizing Finn Balor. Finn Balor is on both TV shows every single week, and he has tag team goals.
He's in the biggest, like, the group that's featured the most on television. Yeah.
So like not to talk about a different thing, but like, you know, same. Roman should break Bruno's record. People think I'm trolling, but I'm serious. I like they had to add that part.
He's being serious. So if this would happen,
I don't think so.
So if this would happen, he would be champ until I think the end of 2028.
Is that true? Holy shit.
I mean, he had it for how many years?
Look it up.
I think it was 10 plus years Bruno had the belt.
Jesus. Yeah, he should not break it then. Hogan, you can argue. I'm not even gonna look it up then. But
no one's breaking it.
You can argue Hogan. That would mean Cody losing at Mania, which I disagree with. But if there's any argument, Roman should break.
Because at least that's within striking distance. Like that's like breakable this year. We're talking about 4 years. People were pissed about Roman holding on to the belt after 2.
I don't think we can do another 8 years of or whatever.
We're not getting an 8-year title reign. This isn't the 60s, 70s anymore. Can't happen. Trick Williams versus Carmelo Hayes needs to be put on the WrestleMania card. Night 1 to be exact. I think this is one of the hottest programs we have in all of WWE right now. And I've seen a lot of people say this. And I think we even talked about this a little bit on the podcast. I'm not opposed to it. It's just a matter of like, this is an NXT feud rivalry.
It's not even for the NXT championship.
Exactly.
That would be another argument.
That's another argument. Like, this has been built up in NXT. This is like the NXT fans have been watching this. Let this match happen at an NXT pay-per-view.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having a huge match on the NXT card.
Which is going to be day of Night 1 of Mania. So, like, that would be like their WrestleMania match, kind of.
I get the argument. It's a hot feud. It's going to be a sick match, but it's like...
If they did it, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm not going to complain. No, I'm not going to complain, but... Save it for NXT.
Yeah. Dolph Ziggler is going to have a Cody Rhodes type indie run and eventually make it back to WWE for one last push. I don't know about the making it back to WWE for one last push part, but I do think, and we're already seeing it, Dolph being off to like a hot start. He's 100%. In the TNA title picture. He did the New Japan thing. He's got some ages going while we're at it.
So this is where I stand on it. Like,
Dolph's 43.
I'm all for Dolph, like going on a crazy run, which I think he will.
Cody's 38.
And going back to WWE and stuff. But I think he's a little older than Cody, like we said. Like when Cody was doing all that stuff, he was in his early 30s. Right? So it's like he comes back, he's mid 30s now. Not, I mean, we've talked about this in wrestling age. It's just a number, especially for someone like Dolph. He wrestles like he's in his late 20s. So it could happen, but you have to be realistic too. Like if he does go on this run, he's on the indies for what, 3-4 years. He's going to re-sign in his late 40s.
It's like a Drew thing too. Drew and Cody did the same thing. And Drew was young and he rebuilt himself. I think Dolph's different because Cody and Drew left when they weren't like, even like physically, they were like smaller guys and they left and then got a more grizzled look. Especially Drew built himself up to be a monster.
If you look at the picture of when they left versus when they come back, it's two different people.
I think they needed to go out and establish themselves where Dolph Ziggler is already an established veteran legend.
Yeah.
So like, obviously
he was in WWE for 19 years before he got released.
So like, I agree that I don't think he was utilized the best. And especially in his later years, I think they could have utilized him. I still think he's one of the best doing it, but it's like a time thing and also an established thing. And it's a different thing to prove.
He's a former world champion, like multiple time IC champion, very accomplished.
I think he's going to have a great run in TNA and on the indies or whatever. By all means, he might come back for one final run.
And that would be great.
I don't think it's going to be like a WrestleMania main event push, but I could see him coming back for sure. I just don't know about on that level. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning of Roman's title run. That can't be true. We have to be. I think the seventh inning stretch. Well, I think that end. Because I think the 7th inning. Remember, we were like a couple months ago. We were like at a lull. There wasn't anything happening. Roman was away. That was the 7th inning stretch. So what does that mean? We're at
the press conference had to been bottom of the 7th.
Does the bottom mean the second half or the first? Bottom means the second half, right?
Yeah.
I think we're at least
in the bottom
at the bottom of the 7th, top of the 8th.
We have to be.
I would even argue top of the 8th.
So when Paul Heyman talks about bottom of the innings, it
is so funny how he said that like once, and it's such a.
When he said 3rd inning last year's Mania, I was like,
but he was right.
He was right. Is the innings Roman story is Tribal Chief or the title run? Because that might be 5th inning of the Tribal Chief story. It better not be of the title reign. Because if that's the case, he might be breaking Bruno's record.
All right, this next one's a 2-parter. We got multiple people saying this, so here's kind of 2 that kind of encapsulate that feeling. First one is the current era of WWE is far better than the Attitude Era. And then second one says, this is currently the hottest period in professional wrestling. Ratings not as high as Attitude Era, but eyes on the product thanks to social media eclipses Attitude Era numbers. And also I saw some others that were like, nostalgia blinds people for thinking the 90s is better than now.
Sure. I mean, the 2 biggest differences, there's a few differences, but one of them is like we're in an age of social media and stuff like that. Back then you didn't have social media, so it's a lot easier to be broadcasted and for more people, even that don't have cable or television, to still follow and stuff through social media. Also, with the Attitude Era, I mean, with the ratings and stuff, no shows nowadays, nothing is going to hit ratings like it was years ago. Just with how every cable
streaming,
it's never going to happen. The Attitude Era was its thing because it was like different. It was edgy. It was like, TV 14, like, and you had endless names of stars and stuff. But you look at wrestling today, you can argue, and I think it's a fair argument, it might be the right argument here, is that this is the most talented we've ever seen any roster in wrestling history. Like this current roster of guys.
What's interesting with that is I agree with you. It's definitely the most talented, especially because wrestling has progressed so much. So it's so much more like the acrobatics of it and like the whatever. But what sucks is it's not coupled like the Attitude Era and even early 2000s whatever, it had the characters. Like we still don't have like you have your Romans, you have your Codys, you have your Seths, you have your Becky, Charlotte, Rhea, you have your top names.
Yeah, 100%.
But like when Royal Rumble season was happening, I think me and you like watched a couple like 90s ones, early 2000s ones, and just the names and the characters and the larger than life personalities. You have way less of that today, but you do have the athleticism. I think right now is the closest to mainstream it's ever been since the 90s. News about The Rock Roman hit like mainstream status. Everything was trending. Like you were saying, you'd have people who aren't even wrestling fans texting you about like, oh, what's up with The Rock and da-da-da.
Right.
But Also, you can argue, not argue, but it lends to the 90s fact where it's like The Rock is back. The Rock was part of the reason why the 90s was so
and
popular.
Stone Cold was wrestling.
And now it's
2 years.
and Stone Cold.
Right.
As people also who hadn't watched it in the 90s, because we're just our age.
Yes, yeah.
It's hard for us to make that
That's
call.
also true.
What I can say, this is maybe the hottest and most popular I've ever seen it.
In our lifetime,
you know?
for sure.
Besides when I was in middle school and everyone in middle school was like as popular. You know,
Right.
I don't think we're the ones to say yes or no. Not that anyone thought we would be, but I think there's an argument to be made. I think there's an argument to be made.
I think it's a subjective thing.
Those are some of your hottest takes. Obviously, didn't get through them all. Let us know if you want to see more hot take videos. Leave your hot takes in the comments. What did you agree with? What did you disagree with? What was the hottest take? What was the coldest take? Let us know. Sweep City merch in the description. Hit join the Discord. You know the deal at this point.
Appreciate
Check out the
you guys.
podcast. Everything.
That's it.
Until next time, we'll see you when we see you.
Boom. Peace.